In April 2025, General Motors filed paperwork with the Securities and Exchange Commission showing that CEO Mary Barra earned $29.5 million last year. That's 310 times what the average General Motors worker makes. Her pay went up 6%. And in that same year, General Motors owners filed more complaints about catastrophic engine failures than any year in the company's history. We cross-referenced 10 years of National Highway Traffic Safety Administration recall data with over 12,000 owner complaints and independent shop repair logs. The data reveals something the manufacturers don't want you to see. The trucks destroying families financially are concentrated in specific model years, specific engines, and specific design failures that these corporations knew about and refused to fix. This is the Mechanic's Blacklist. 7 trucks that shops across America are quietly refusing to work on. Not because they can't fix them, because fixing them would cost you more than the truck is worth. Your father's mechanic could fix anything. It didn't matter if it was a Ford, a Chevy, or a Dodge. He had a toolbox, a timing light, and 30 years of knowing how engines work. You brought him a problem, he found the problem, he fixed the problem. End of story. That man is being engineered out of existence. The trucks rolling off assembly lines today aren't designed to be fixed. They're designed to be serviced at a dealership by a technician with a $14,000 diagnostic laptop at $180 an hour. Mary Barra makes $29 million a year. Jim Farley at Ford makes $25 million. These executives answer to Wall Street, not to the guy in Ohio who needs his truck to get to work. Every decision, every bolt, every gasket, every sensor is now made by someone whose job is to cut costs this quarter and let you deal with the consequences next year. They call it lightweighting. They call it efficiency. They call it meeting Environmental Protection Agency standards. Here's what it actually means: plastic where there used to be metal, turbos where there used to be cubic inches, computers where there used to be common sense, and a repair bill that costs more than your father paid for his entire truck. First on the blacklist, any General Motors truck built after 2007 with active fuel management, now called dynamic fuel management. A viewer named Mike from Indiana commented on our last video with a story that perfectly illustrates the problem. He bought a 2017 Silverado, put 80,000 miles on it, and the lifters failed. When he took it to the dealer, they told him the previous owner had already replaced the engine once for the same issue. 2 engines dead in 80,000 miles on a Chevrolet. Here is what General Motors sold you: a system that shuts off half your cylinders when you are cruising, saving you gas. Here is what General Motors did not tell you: the lifters that make this system work are a time bomb. The AFM lifters collapse. It is not a question of if, it is a question of when. When a lifter sticks in the wrong position, it bends the pushrod. That bent pushrod destroys the camshaft, and your engine dies on the highway doing 70 miles per hour. Metal shavings, mechanics call it glitter, contaminate your oil and spread through the entire block. At that point, you are not looking at a repair. You are looking at an engine replacement. $8,000 to $12,000 on a truck you are still making payments on. And here is what should make you furious. General Motors has not learned a thing. Mechanics are reporting lifter failures on brand new 2022, 2023, and 2024 trucks with 5,000 to 10,000 miles on the odometer. 18 years, billions of dollars in customer repairs, and they still have not fixed it. There is a class action lawsuit sitting in federal court right now, Harrison versus General Motors, covering 2014 to 2021 vehicles with the 5.3, 6.0, and 6.2-liter V8 engines. General Motors has never resolved the system. They have never admitted the design is flawed. The industry hates this, but there is a loophole. You can delete the AFM system entirely. It costs about $2,000 at an independent shop. But in many states, that delete fails emissions inspection, making your truck illegal to register. General Motors built a self-destructing engine, and the government made it illegal to save it. Second on the list, the Ford 3.5 EcoBoost F-150. Dan from Texas asked why his 2013 F-150 sounded like a bag of marbles on cold starts. Dan, that is your timing chain dying, and you are not alone. The engine Ford promised would give you V8 power with V6 fuel economy. Here is what they did not promise: a timing chain that wears out at 60,000 miles, and a cooling system designed to kill your engine from the inside. The 3.5 EcoBoost runs hot. Twin turbos generate enormous heat, and Ford's recommended oil change interval, pushed to 10,000 miles by marketing, not engineering, does not keep up with how fast that oil breaks down. But there is another time bomb hiding in these engines. On certain model years, the water pump is buried inside the engine, driven by the timing chain itself. When that internal pump fails, and they do fail, coolant does not leak onto your driveway where you can see it. It leaks directly into your oil. You will not know anything is wrong until your engine seizes. And then there are the turbos. After a long highway pull, those turbos are glowing hot. If you shut the engine off immediately, the oil inside them does not circulate. It just sits there and cooks into carbon. Mechanics call it heat soak. It destroys turbo bearings and seals. To change that timing chain, a mechanic has to remove the entire front end of your truck. Ford's own warranty labor time is over 9 hours. At dealer rates, you are looking at $3,000 to $5,000 for a timing chain on a truck with 60,000 miles. Third, the Ford Super Duty with the 6.7-liter Power Stroke diesel. This one breaks mechanics' hearts because the engine itself is actually decent. The problem is where Ford put it. To access the turbos, the high-pressure fuel pump, or to do any major engine work on a 6.7-liter Power Stroke, you do not pop the hood and get to work. You have to unbolt the cab from the frame and lift it off the truck. That is not an exaggeration. That is the factory service procedure. Ford calls it cab-off service. Mechanics call it job security if you are a dealer tech. If you are an independent shop, you call it please take this somewhere else. Cab-off adds 10 to 15 hours of labor to any repair. We have seen invoices for turbo replacements exceeding $8,000 on trucks with under 100,000 miles. The truck your grandfather worked on in his driveway? That is gone. This is a truck designed to live and die at the dealership. Fourth, the Ram 1500 and the 2500, particularly the Hemi-powered trucks. Steve from Michigan wrote that his Ram looked perfect on top. Underneath, He could put his finger through the frame. In 2018, Chrysler recalled 270,000 trucks because the fuel tank straps were corroding so badly the tanks could fall off. But that recall only covered 20 Salt Belt states, and it only covered the straps, not the frames themselves. Ram uses a wax-based undercoating that traps moisture instead of repelling it. Salt gets in, water gets in, and the frame rusts from the inside out. But that is not why mechanics hate working on Rams. Ask any technician about Hemi exhaust manifold bolts. Those bolts snap off, every single one of them. It happens so often that mechanics consider it a guarantee, not a possibility. And when those bolts break, they break flush with the aluminum head. Now you are drilling out hardened steel from soft aluminum in an engine bay where you can barely fit your hand. Most shops will not even quote the job anymore. They just tell you to take it to the dealer. Fifth, the first-generation Nissan Titan. Nissan used a 5-speed automatic in these trucks that was never designed for the weight of a full-size pickup. The radiator design allows transmission fluid and coolant to mix. Mechanics call it strawberry milkshake because of the color. When that happens, your transmission is dead. And because Nissan has abandoned parts support for the early Titans, finding a replacement is nearly impossible. Mechanics don't refuse Titans because they are difficult. They refuse them because the parts don't exist. Sixth, the 2005 to 2010 Toyota Tundra and Tacoma. This one hurts because Toyota built one hell of an engine, but the frames rusted so badly, Toyota paid $3.4 billion to settle a class action lawsuit. They replaced frames on over 200,000 trucks. But here is the catch nobody talks about. That program ended in 2022. If you are buying a used Tundra from this era today, you are buying it as is. And if that frame was not replaced, you are sitting on a time bomb. The 5.7-liter V8 will run forever. The frame holding it up might not last the year. Seventh, the new Toyota Tundra. Toyota looked at the most reliable full-size truck on the road, the 5.7-liter V8, and killed it. They replaced it with a twin-turbo V6 hybrid system with more computers, more sensors, and more failure points than anything Toyota has ever put in a pickup. And in 2024, Toyota issued a recall for over 100,000 vehicles, Tundras and Lexus LXs, because metal debris was left inside the engine during manufacturing. Factory shavings contaminated the oil and destroyed rod bearings. This is Toyota, the company that built its entire reputation on bulletproof quality. Now they are selling engines with metal garbage inside them from the factory. So if the new stuff is a minefield, what do you actually buy? Here's the math that matters. A new Silverado costs $60,000. In 5 years, it is worth $39,000. You just lost $21,000, and that is before the active fuel management system eats your engine. A 2006 Silverado with the 5.3 and no active fuel management. You can buy one today for $8,000 to $12,000. Drive it for 5 years, sell it for $7,000 to $10,000. Your total cost of ownership is a few $1,000s, and the engine will outlast your grandchildren. That is the loophole the industry does not want you to know about. Trucks built before 2007 are exempt from the systems that are destroying modern engines. Here's what the mechanics drive. Pre-2007 GM trucks with the old 5.3 V8. Before active fuel management. Before the computers took over. That is a truck that will run 200,000 miles with nothing but oil changes and brake pads. The 5.9 Cummins RAMs from 1998 to 2007. Before diesel exhaust fluid. Before emissions equipment that costs $5,000 to replace. That engine is a million-mile motor. There is a reason they sell for more now than they did new. From 2007 to 2021 Tundras with the 5.7 V8. Skip the early frame years or verify the recall work was done. That 3URFE engine is the last simple, reliable V8 Toyota ever made. And it might be the last one anyone ever makes. Your grandfather's truck was a tool. It hauled lumber. It pulled trailers. It started on cold mornings, and it did not ask permission from a satellite. The trucks they are selling today are subscriptions with wheels. They are payment plans wrapped in plastic. They are machines designed to survive the warranty period, and not a day longer. Mary Barra does not drive a Silverado with active fuel management. Jim Farley does not drive an EcoBoost F-150 every day. They know what is in these trucks, and they are counting on you not knowing. The mechanics know. That is why they are building the blacklist. That is why they are telling you what the dealers will not. Stop shopping like a customer. Start shopping like a mechanic. Check the build date. Check the engine code. Avoid AFM, avoid DFM, and avoid diesel exhaust fluid. Find a truck built before the accountants took over. Because the guys who fix these things for a living, they are not buying the new stuff. And neither should you.